really serious about working at night.
Yeah, I know, I'm exhausted.
Okay, I call the meeting to order. Mr. Bodnar, or I make a motion to appoint Mr. Lee Bodnar as interim fiscal officer.
Second.
Trustee Knapp?
Yes?
Trustee Rivers?
Yes.
Trustee Trano?
Yes. Next is pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item on the agenda is public comments regarding items not otherwise on the agenda. Is there anyone that would like to give public comments? Okay, next we have agenda changes. Are there any changes to the agenda?
I have one, Madam Chair. The removal under item 10 on the agenda, administrative report, letter B, authorizing the advertising of the request for quotes for IT services. I'd like to ask the board to remove that from the agenda.
Is that all?
That is all I have.
Were you planning on giving a status update at that time?
If you would like me to, I'd be
Yeah,
happy
if you
to.
just want to do that maybe. Trustee Rivers, do you have anything?
No.
Trustee Khan?
Any reason to have an executive session?
No. I will add to, under new business, I'll add resignation of fiscal officer. Is item B.
Would there be any update on the new director search, Mr. Bodnar?
Certainly.
Does that need to be an exec or can it be public?
It can certainly be public.
Okay.
That
Would you
be
mind?
under administrator,
Sure.
administrative report.
That would be item B. Or, well, actually C.
Okay, the first item we have is the approval of minutes. Are there any changes to the minutes? Oh, we don't have any minutes to, are the minutes not, minutes have not been done yet. Next we have zoning report. Ms. Bonnie will not be here this evening.
She will not. She did send a written copy that's located at each member's seat for you to peruse. And she asked me to convey if you had any questions, she would be happy to answer those for you.
Okay.
She did have another item on the agenda, though.
Okay, we have, we need to set a hearing for zoning case ZON 1804 Toy Box in Columbus LLC. And she was recommending the first or second meeting of the month, I believe.
Correct.
Second meeting.
Mr. 15?
It would be the 15th.
Mike, do you think that one is expected to have a lot of discussion?
There was a lot of concern with the folks at the courtyard and ravines. At the last hearing, they announced that there had been a private agreement, not part of the zoning reached, and that they were satisfied. So I would not anticipate at this point in time that we're going to have a robust hearing. I think there was some real potential before that.
Okay, so. So if we had it on the 15th at like 7 p.m. Is that good? See, I make a motion to hold the zoning hearing for case number ZON 1804, Toy Box of Columbus LLC on October 15th at 7 p.m. at Township Hall.
Second.
Trustee Knapp?
Yes?
Trustee Rivers?
Yes.
Trustee Trano?
Yes.
Next, we have the maintenance report.
Yes, that would be me. The first item for discussion would be the Discussion possible action regarding Ohio Public Works Commission, or also known as OPWC, and it's the application for 2018 that would be payable in 2019. And this is for Orange Road Phase 2, which would be about 1,000 feet east of US 23. It would start where it last ended, where Phase 1 ended, and it would end at the intersection of Blue Holly Drive on Orange Road. The project consists of widening Orange Road to a 5-lane section from the starting point clear to its ending point of Blue Holly. And there would be, and that would obviously go over the railroad tracks. There'd be new traffic signals to be installed at North Central Drive, Highfield Drive, Green Meadows Drive, and at Blue Holly. So it's the second phase of the project. OPWC is going to, or we're going to apply for OPWC money. The application was put together by the county engineer's office. It shows the township portion at about OPWC amount is about 17%, and 83% would be, a portion of that would come from the county, and a portion of that would come from Orange Township. This falls in line with the plan that was put in place to accomplish this project some time ago, and the funding has been continually saved, for a better word, or collected over term, so that this is not a major hit to any particular budget item. Is there any question?
What is the cost to the township, or the 83%?
2.4 million.
And is there any time frame for when the work is going to be completed, how long?
By the construction is designated to be completed by the end of construction year 2020.
And when will it begin?
The construction season of 2020. So early spring of 2020.
So it only takes 6 months?
That's the estimated time frame, yeah. But keep in mind that it will be an intrusive 6 months.
Well, that's what I'm worried
For
about,
those
because
that-
it seems like as soon as we get a road fixed, the rest of the roads are, we get more construction, and I'm getting a little bit tired of it, actually.
Yeah.
I think the residents are too.
It's kind of difficult to get to the fix without going through some pains. And I don't know any way to get to a good long-lasting road other than going through those construction pains. And as much as we all hate those, and we have all felt the burden of those, specifically in our community, it is also the sign of a thriving, growing community that we need these projects. I will say that, moving it to 5 lanes, I think will certainly help move traffic. So the other side of the construction certainly holds some strong benefits for our community too.
Yes.
So that's my 2 cents. Maybe 3.
Are there any questions? Whereas the State Capital Improvement Program and the Local Transportation Improvement Program both provide financial assistance to political subdivisions for capital improvements to public infrastructure, and whereas the Orange Township Board of Trustees is planning to make capital improvements called Orange Road Improvements Phase 2, DLTR 114151, and whereas the infrastructure improvement herein described is considered to be a priority need for the community and is a qualified project under the OPWC programs. Now therefore be it resolved by the Orange Township, by the Board of Trustees of Orange Township, Delaware County, Section 1, that the Township Administrator is hereby authorized to apply to the OPWC for funds as described above. Section 2, that the Township Administrator is further authorized to enter into any agreements as may be necessary and appropriate for obtaining the financial assistance and to bind the Board by any such agreements.
Second?
Trustee Knapp?
Yes?
Trustee Rivers?
Yes.
Trustee Tarano?
Yes.
Thank you, members of the board. There is a subsequent or an additional resolution to accompany this. Action.
At this hearing?
It's the one concerning the cooperative agreement. It's on page 3 of the...
Page 3 at the middle of page 3. And this is just working out an agreement between the county commissioners and Orange Township for this road project.
So that's with the reimbursements, does that have to do with the 83%?
That has to do with
data?
the $50,000. I mean, it's page 4, you can see the agreement. I went through it just before the hearing for meeting. Yeah, it's basically indicating the county's share. This is a program, a practice the county's had for some time now. Even I recall. And, you know, basically this is the means by which it's incorporated. It does indicate the township's ultimate share is to be 81%.
Yeah. Be it resolved that the Board of Township Trustees of Orange Township, Delaware County, Ohio, enter into and execute a cooperation agreement and related paperwork with the Delaware County Commissioners regarding the project known as Orange Road Improvements Phase 2, DEL TR 114151. Be it further resolved that the agreement shall be in the form submitted to the board, a copy of which is attached hereto as Exhibit A, the contents of which are specifically incorporated herein, with the correction of the township's resolution number stated in the second paragraph to read resolution number 12-054A. Be it further resolved that all members of the board shall execute the agreement on behalf of the board.
Second?
Trustee Knapp?
Yes?
Trustee Triano?
Yes.
Trustee Rivers?
Yes.
And then the next item for discussion is the renovations to the front office area. I shared, for your information, the details from back in 2016. It was actually December of 2016, beginning of 2017 that this was discussed, and that was set up at that time, but through the design phase took a good portion of 2017. And currently, I just wanted to give you an update. Next week, I have a meeting with the architectural firm, Myers and Associates, to discuss this project at length and be able to come to the board at the next meeting with a resolution for consideration. To move forward on that. At this point, it looks that the only project that we'll be doing would be the front office area. There was discussion in the past of marrying it with the conference area in the back. Right now, because we're going to be interrupting business being conducted or conducting a business in the front area, it may be advantageous to use that area for office space, temporary office space while the construction's going forward. And I don't know the answer to that. I need somebody that has some good savvy technical knowledge to be able to tell me if that's a better spot, or where it was also discussed was right outside in the hallway here in the Thompson Room. And so as we have limited spaces available to utilize for that purpose, I want to choose our time and choose the space wisely, because it will be probably about 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks before they'd be able to move into the front office space. So I want to make sure that there's some comfort there, there's some security there, and also accessibility to telephone service and internet connectivity and computer intranet connectivity as well.
So a total of six weeks is the expected?
Roughly, yeah, and I'm going to tell you that's an overestimate, just so you know.
And to your point of how crowded that we are, I hate to see us do something, a Band-Aid, when we have the opportunity to extend it a little further. I don't know if anyone has considered the garage. It could be made into a regular addition to the township, be made into offices, storage. It doesn't necessarily need to be used as a garage anymore. And I just hate to see us go to all this and just do part of it when we have a nice area there that we can actually add on, and it'll be a complement to what we already are doing, considering how tight our space is and our office space.
But are you saying that has to do with the current plans for construction? Or are you talking about in the future?
No, I think we should add on to the current plan. Do it all at the same time.
Would that affect, this is the first I've heard of this, would that affect the We've been talking about these renovations for like 2 years.
I know, and this is something that I've been discussing with Mary Ann and then also Beth, and this is my first opportunity to bring it to the board to consider.
Okay, we've already paid for
Are you
the
proposing
plans.
to use it for additional office space?
I think we need additional office space plus storage, and it seems like the garage would be a perfect opportunity to add on at the same time that we're renovating the front office.
But why would we need to do it at the same time?
Just when you're tearing everything up and you're gonna have a big hole in the wall, it just seemed advantageous to me to do it at the same time.
Have we looked at the garage as far as knowing what's
No,
possible, or?
not at all. I would share that that would be a costly endeavor because the garage is a garage, and the structure here, albeit a residential structure, has a few additional accoutrements or insulation and things of that nature where the garage does not have any. I mean, it's certainly, if the board wants us to look at that and put this on the back burner, we can certainly do that.
I just don't think it would really take a lot of time for them to even come up with a plan.
Well, I guess first, I think, to take a look at the garage and see at least once, with the insulation, is the conditions in there where something would have the option to even do that, or is it something that would be a significant cost to invest to get it
But you'd
up
have to
to?
put a sprinkler system if it's not already in there, so there's a significant cost there. As far as drywall and some insulation, that's not a big deal, but I would allow the architects to advise on that.
Well, but I don't think, I like the idea of putting offices in there. I think I've never thought of that as actually a really good idea. But I think that I would like to go forward with these plans because I don't know how that will really affect. I mean,
Maybe we can ask Mr. Myers that when Mr. Bodnar meets with him next week.
I certainly can ask him that, and just for the board's knowledge, there will be no holes in the walls. It's really the construction of a new wall that is non-existent in the front office that allows for separation.
It's just going to be contained in the current area with changes to be made.
Yeah.
So,
I would tell you that it could obviously be done together or it could be done separately.
but we've been working on this for what, 2 years, I think, for the expansion, or for the construction to make the front area safer, and I'm not in favor of putting off the safety of our employees, you know, and
Well, I
also.
think we can move forward with the project, but it wouldn't hurt to have it looked at.
Yeah, exactly.
If there is.
I can certainly bring that up to Mr. Myers. We're meeting next Wednesday at 4:30. Trustee Trano, if you wish to attend that meeting as well.
What was that date?
The date is the 26th, next Wednesday, and he'll be here at 4:30.
Did you need a consensus to move forward? on
No,
that?
not at all. I was just going to share with the board that this was going to come for consideration at the next meeting.
Yeah, I'm in favor of proceeding with that and checking into storage in the garage and offices. That's a great idea, but I don't want to see that delay this project at all.
Well, then, let me share with the board that after our discussion next Wednesday, several paths would present themselves. One would be the consideration, of the project as it is currently, or another consideration for amendment to that, or putting it on hold for future design work to be done for the board's consideration. So there's really 3 avenues that would come forward at the next meeting, I would think. So I think you're in a pretty safe position currently.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if we're going to have a big need for expansion for offices in the near future. Maybe 1 or 2, but I'm not sure about a whole room full.
And that concludes the maintenance report.
Okay, nothing on the park report, and we have public safety report, Chief.
Yes, good evening. The one item that I have under the public safety report is to regretfully accept resignation of part-time firefighter EMT Adam Parsons. He was hired full-time with Granville, and he had a couple other part-time jobs, so he's having to consolidate, so.
Are there any questions? Can I make a motion to regretfully accept the resignation of Adam Parsons as part-time firefighter EMT effective September 1st, 2018?
Second?
Trustee Knapp?
Yes?
Trustee Rivers?
Yes.
Trustee Taranto?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, we have fiscal office report.
Yes. And I will ask the board to bear with me as I am not really familiar with the items that are on the agenda for discussion. And so I would ask the board's favor in tabling those items.
I'm a little concerned about tabling the insurance payments, the life insurance. If you don't make your life, I noticed that the life insurance is like 3 months behind. I don't want the risk of our staff losing that particular coverage.
Why is it 3 months behind?
That I don't know. It's part of the packet. And it shows
It is.
invoices go back to, I think, May.
Yes, it is.
If I may also add, with your permission, increasing permanent appropriations, we need to pull some more money down from.
For the legal.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so I would ask that you
That's
do that as well, because then we can get a blanket purchase order. And, well, actually, yeah, move those funds back over to the administration.
Okay, and I'm okay, I think I'll go ahead and read all these if it's okay, because we can
That's fine.
modify them later in case depending on.
And I apologize, I did not realize that the life insurance was in such arrears.
Yeah, I'm not sure why those weren't being paid. We weren't presenting with those prior to this.
I'm looking at Amanda's notes. She dated when she wrote the different codes where they paid it from. Well, 6/19, June 18th, yeah, I think they got the new one. And I don't know, I know how many, well, Miss Lewis, would she be able to, since she's familiar with UAN, pay that?
Nobody can pay anything at the moment.
Right, we'll have that discussion later. I make a motion to authorize a supplemental appropriation from account 219-120-381-0000 property insurance premium to 219-120-220-222-000 life insurance fire in the amount of $2,100 because additional funds are needed. Second?
Okay, Trustee Knapp?
Yes.
Trustee Tran?
Yes.
Trustee Rivers?
Yes.
Make a motion to authorize the issuance of a vending out purchase order to Jefferson Health Plan in the amount of $27,424.59 for medical premium runout.
Second?
Trustee Knapp?
Yes.
Trustee Tran?
Yes.
Trustee Rivers?
Yes.
Make a motion to authorize the issuance of a then and now purchase order to the Standard Insurance Company in the amount of $2,790 for life insurance premiums. Multiple accounts are shown on purchase order request.
Can we look at that for a minute? I'm not sure that, that amount doesn't sound right. Because you have one invoice for, July is 2,888, and then 1,869 is for, that might be July, it's July's first. And then the last one is $2,820.
Looks like.
Unless that's all of them. No? So just for September alone, it's $2,820. Outstanding balance. Right. So if you look at the last page on the backup, you have this month's policy, which is $950.88. Then you have outstanding balance, $1,869.56, which brings it a total of $2,800, which makes me think that one of these has been paid.
I have no idea.
What, it's going to be the 9.
Or it's all of them added together. Let me get my calculator.
Let's see, both of those were- See, the supplemental is for 21. This is for 27.
So on the July one, you have a coverage total of $934.78, an outstanding balance of $1,950.56. 5361, which brings it to 2888. And in August, we have another 934.78. And it says outstanding balance 934.78, so I'm gonna say that, there's a payment in there. She's just not showing it.
So what should the amount be?
On this last page, it's 28,2044, not 2790, which isn't, at least it's not 6,000 like I was thinking it was going to be. So it looks like June or July has been paid.
So what should the amount be?
28. $2,820.44.
So it's the amount that's shown on,
September's billing period.
220, 43.
I imagine we probably should confirm with them before we pay it.
is this an overdue, is this one, is this,
September was due September 1st. It's always
Yeah.
a month of, it's due the first of the month, so yes.
what's this, yeah, 6, 7, and 8. So it's off by $30.44.
Which maybe they have that in the account and I'm just not there. But it's misleading, this is not showing payments.
Well, should we just pay it for the 2044, so, and then we can fix it later, yeah.
Yeah, I would think that might be one option.
So, okay, so we're gonna increase it by $30.44. I make a motion to authorize the issuance of a then and now purchase order to the Standard Insurance Company in the amount of $28.20 for life insurance premiums, multiple accounts as shown on purchase order request.
Second?
Trustee Knapp?
Yes?
Trustee Trano?
Yes.
Trustee Rivers?
Yes.
And we have the permanent appropriations to account. Chief, let's see, how much, what do we have in that account now? What do we actually need?
We need what we're pulling down from the larger fund.
The whole 25,000?
Please, yes, because not only do we need to pay back the administration, we're going to have some other legal fees before we do
Right,
that.
okay, that's fine. I move the adoption of the following resolution. Be it resolved that the permanent appropriation to account 2191-220-311-0000, accounting legal fees fire, is increased by the amount of $25,000, and the township fiscal officer shall make such adjustment in the financial records of the township.
Second?
Trustee Knapp?
Yes?
Trustee Trano?
Yes.
Trustee Rivers?
Yes.
Okay, do I have April financials? I'm just gonna table that. See, administrative report, Mr. Gordon?
Yes, members of the board, I also have two then and now purchase orders for your consideration. The first one is to Dovetail. The second one is to Lesh Battery. This is for equipment that was provided to the township for the Bridge Park Pavilion to allow for solar power at the pavilion.
Okay, and that was to complete the solar installation.
It's to complete the solar installation to this point. The board approved earlier this year additional funds for that project to accentuate this portion of it. So it will actually improve the amount of storage battery capacity to allow for more solar power to be utilized, or more ampage, for lack of a better electrical term. That's really the key when it comes to solar power, is the collection and storing of that power, and then it can be expended from the storage batteries. And the board approved the installation of larger batteries, but this would take care of that which has already been installed.
So we'll be expecting some more purchase orders later?
Yes.
Okay. When is that supposed to be completed?
The contractor was waiting on these invoices to be paid, and then would work to complete it upon payment received.
Thanks for working.
So
on that.
hopefully by the end of this year, the weather continues to be nice for the next 6 weeks. We should be okay.
Well, I know you took several hours to work all the math out and get everything together, so I appreciate that.
Well, math doesn't come easy for me.
I make a motion to authorize issuance of a then and now purchase order to Dovetail Solar and Wind in the amount of $2,499 from account 2901-760-730-0000, improvement of sites for providing off-grid solar power equipment at the Bridge Park Pavilion.
Second?
Trustee Knapp?
Yes.
Trustee Rivers?
Yes.
Trustee Triano?
Yes. I make a motion to authorize issuance of a then and now purchase order to Lesh Battery in the amount of $1,545.22 from account number 2901-760-730-0000, improvement of sites for providing 2 Discover EVADAA batteries for the solar power project at the Bridge Park Pavilion.
Second?
Trustee Knapp?
Yes?
Trustee Rivers?
Yes.
Trustee Triano?
Yes.
The last item I have was that I mentioned early on for removal from the agenda. It was a request for quotes for information technology services for the fiscal office. This was the request for quotes to supply the fiscal office with IT services and capability and intranet and email access. This was the result of discussions between myself, Mr. McCarthy sat in on some, and Mr. Keitza, the county auditor, to change the agreement that is currently in place between the township and the county. The township authorized an amendment. The county accepted that amendment, and this was the end result. To close the loop on that amendment would be the services of provision. As circumstances have recently changed, I spoke with Mr. Keitza this afternoon, and we came to the conclusion that there will be no need for the request for quotes or to move forward in this regard, and we would have to look at how we can unravel the amendments that we had made in the past. And I just got indication from Mr. McCarthy that doesn't seem that it would be too much of a challenge. I hope that summary makes sense.
Yeah.
No, it should be fine.
So do we have to come back we don't have to do anything else?
We'll be bringing something back to the board. I'm not sure I'm going to call it yet, but it will essentially restore the status quo ante.
Okay.
What's our renewal date? It's October.
It is mid-October. I think it's the 23rd or something. Memory serves.
Now I'll get with Mr. Bowden.
Well, that's good news then.
It is. I will tell you that it was a long road to get to this point, and it was diligently traveled by many people, so it was good to work with good people.
Yes, it was. And an update on the Director of Operations.
Yes, Amanda and I conducted 2 interviews last week. Unfortunately, one person removed themselves from consideration as they took another job, and stepped away from that, and we have 2 interviews set up for this week for that position. And we hope to have something good for the board to consider at the next meeting, or at least a better report than only having 2 interviews.
Oh, good.
Because at that time, we'll have 4, or maybe even 5.
Next, we have old business. We're going to table the financials again because we still don't have those in the correct format or in their entirety. Then we have appropriate funds.
That was tabled at the last meeting for lack of clarity, and there was no additional information provided, so I would ask that the board consider removing that from the agenda.
Yes. And next we have the tabled item discussion and possible action regarding automotive mechanic.
At the last meeting, you asked us to go back and revise the position description to meet your requests. We did that. That was resupplied to you, the board. We took out reference to fire apparatus, and basically that opened it up to township-wide. We did add the verbiage, priority to fire and EMS vehicles.
Did you add that verbiage?
We did, with priority given. And Aaron and I had discussions after the last trustee meeting, and he and I both came to the agreement that we could work with one another on that. If we're in the middle of plow season and a plow goes down, that's a given, okay? If I have a fire truck go down any other time, or an EMS vehicle that we need to get back in service, it's a given that that gets priority. So we believe that we can work that amongst ourselves. So with that, that's what you asked us to do, that's what we did, so here we are this evening.
Okay, and that, like, as you said, that person will keep track of all of their time to ensure that
Yes, ma'am.
they're actually saving us money by doing those repairs, correct?
Yes, ma'am. In fact, we're going to work with the iWorks, which is the software package that you, the board, passed at the last trustee meeting. There's modules in there which we can have access to and utilize. In fact, there was an email conversation today regarding that. So, and understand that this individual is going to have to keep records anyways. So that's just mandatory given the vehicles that they're working on. So we will ensure that that data is collected.
Right, I just want to make sure the position will pay for itself, and that person will have to prove,
That is-
and not the first year, I know necessarily, but, you know.
Yeah, the first year, in fact, I believe that the state auditor, their report came back, they thought it would be 2 years before we would see any major savings. However, I can tell you, working on the 2019 appropriations already, we've reduced the line item for repairs and maintenance of vehicles, you know, to offset some of those funds and salaries to do that. And then, just so you know, we are in communication with those other outside entities that have shown interest to start working on some contracts there. So we're moving
That's
forward on
great.
those things that we said we would do.
Are there any other township, or any other fire departments in Delaware County that have this position?
The city of Delaware, and then setting aside that Delaware County, they have their garages, or and I'm not sure, I believe the city of Delaware goes to the county for some of that. I'm not sure, I hate to quote that, but for a township to have a position such as this in Delaware County, no.
No. All right, so we'll be the first one.
Yes.
Okay, are there any questions? I move the adoption of the following resolution. Whereas the Board of Township Trustees of Orange Township has been presented a proposal to create the new position of automotive mechanic to assist the township in the maintenance and operation of its fire department, fire equipment and apparatus, together with other equipment and apparatus, and to adopt the position description for the position. Now therefore be it resolved that the at-will, non-exempt, full-time, non-bargaining unit position of automotive mechanic is hereby created. Be it further resolved that this position shall serve under the direction of the fleet maintenance captain, fire chief, township administrator, and board, and under the terms and provisions stated in the position description for this employment presented to the board and bearing the version identifier of 9/17/2018A, be it further resolved that the aforementioned position description is presented for informational purposes only and can be changed at any time by the board with or without notice. Be it further resolved that neither the aforementioned position description nor this resolution are an employment contract express or implied, and an employee in such position is an employee at will, and either the employer or the board can terminate the employment relationship at any time for any reason or no reason and with or without notice. Be it further resolved that, unless otherwise provided by the board, all appointments to this position shall be contingent upon the applicant's satisfactory completion of a drug screen, physical examination, background investigation, and practical assessment.
Second?
Trustee Knapp?
Yes?
Trustee Rivers?
Yes.
Trustee Torrento?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and next. Discussion and possible action regarding changing the regular first of the month trustee meeting time.
Resolution we asked for at the last meeting. Update for the remainder of this year.
So we discussed at the last meeting, changing our first meeting of the month to be a daytime meeting instead, maybe in the morning. And in order to change it up a little bit, the employees can come during the day. We feel that having 2 evening meetings a month is not serving the entire needs of the township. So we're going to give this a try, where the first meeting of the month is going to be at, I'm not sure what time yet, 10 a.m. And the second meeting of the month will continue to be at 7 p.m.
I remember over the last several years, whenever there was a day meeting, which didn't happen often, that you were very emphatic that it wasn't fair to the residents, that we weren't being transparent, that they couldn't be here for something that they wanted to talk about or ask questions about. For example, we haven't even voted on this, and we've already scheduled the Rail Commission to come at 10 a.m. on October 1st, when we all know that this is a very serious subject for the people that live in Lewis Center, the closing of that particular railroad. So in my mind, we wouldn't want to have a meeting like that at 10 a.m. because we would want them to be able to come, to discuss it, to ask questions, to hear the presentation by the Rail Commission. I'm not even sure why the meeting was scheduled yet before this resolution was passed. But you'd already talked about transparency and how important it was that the residents who pay everyone's salary here have the opportunity to come. Now, I know that you're going to start the live video, but how do you ask questions while it's happening? How do you ask questions before a decision, a vote is taken? I've even seen minds changed with both of you from the residents that show up with their concerns. One of them was the zoning case across from Triple T. So that's it's a red flag for me. It's a concern. I am not against change. I'm absolutely open to it. But we all accepted this job to work for the residents of the township, so that's my biggest concern. And I know the staff would love it, and I get that, but we're here for the residents. So I guess, what caused you to change your mind?
Well, the county commissioners actually hold their meetings during the day, and they, I believe at 9 a.m., I'm not sure, 9:30, and those run very efficiently, very well, and they've had no complaints. People come, and so we're kind of modeling it after them. And also, the only time I complained was when we had special meetings that were set suddenly at random times with not a lot of notice. And those are the ones that we're making major decisions that I thought should be in the evenings. We've never had daytime meetings, so I've never been worried about having a daytime meeting and a regular meeting. It was simply about special meetings and emergency meetings. And some of those were when the fire levy failed. That was a big one. I was very concerned about that. And we were having 5 or 6 special meetings a month, and they were all being held during the day. So we'll give an adequate notice of these meetings. and people will have plenty of time to participate. They're free. There's actually no legal requirement that you allow any public comment at a meeting. So people are always free to provide us with email, text, calls, or still can give the input. And we will probably be having our zoning meetings in the evening, at the evening meeting.
Well, how about that rail commission coming on a day meeting when there's so many residents that showed up to the last meeting that we had?
Mr.
Well, I
Bodnar?
know several of them are retired, so a day meeting may be more, maybe easier for them to make. I would agree that absolutely it's critical we have the input of the public. I like to see us have more open houses. I mean, really the trustee meetings as far as getting input and having residents come in, it's not the best forum for that. I mean, it's very limited as far as what input they can give. So I like to see us have more channels to get more input. And by the time it comes to a trustee meeting, we pretty much have all the information put together versus the mix of having a decision in front of us and having others, speak as well. And I think as the largest township in Delaware County, it's about efficiency and getting there, and we need to look at the model. I agree. I think the county commissioners do a great job. It's a fantastic model to follow. We need to look at doing more and expanding more, by having more flexibility and getting that input from the public.
Right, and we had a lot of complaints about meetings lasting too long and employees being here until 10 or 11 at night, the public being here late, so we're trying to be more efficient.
And I think, too, is looking at the agenda going forward. If there are things that we want to put on the evening, you have an evening, a meeting each month to schedule it for more of the operation side, or we're approving day-to-day business. I think that's obviously be more focus of the meeting.
And Mr. Bodnar, why was that meeting scheduled? Was that when the railroad could come, or were they not? We wanted to consider that sooner rather than later. Is that why it was put on that meeting?
This was in response to the dual railroad companies, CSX and Norfolk and Southern, giving the township 45 days in which to make a determination before they go to the PUCO and ask and petition for the closure of Franklin Street crossing.
So time is of the essence.
Time is of the essence, and it's unfortunate that there are no representative from the Ohio Railway Commission, Development Commission was available to attend this evening, and so I went to the next meeting.
The 15th?
Pardon?
Were they offered the 15th?
Of October?
Uh-huh.
No, ma'am.
That's a big one, and we have a lot of people that showed up.
If the board is in
Big concern.
consensus to move it to a different time or date, there's no issue in doing that. As that was the next scheduled meeting, that's what I went with, knowing that there was no decision by the board that was going to be asked at that meeting. I certainly thought it was practical for the board to hear as much information as they could before there may be a call for making some
Yeah,
decisions.
we tried to schedule for this evening.
You could even call a special meeting if you wanted to.
And we tried to schedule for this evening, and
Yes.
that was not, they were not.
Correct.
They were not available.
And
For
you,
several weeks.
and you do have a contact list that you're reaching out to.
I do, and the contact list of the residents that asked to be contacted is 5 residents, so it's not a lengthy list
Right.
by any stretch.
And
Yeah.
I've talked to a few myself as well.
Right.
I do already have a commitment on the first meeting in December. I'll see if I can change that or not. I feel like this is being a little rushed. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it.
Well, I think we're trying to be more efficient and serve the needs of the residents, have more efficient meetings, and like Trustee Rivers said, we'll be having the more controversial meetings in the evening and the more business things during the day. I move the adoption of the following resolution. Whereas Section 121.22F of the Ohio Revised Code provides that every public body must adopt a rule establishing a reasonable method whereby any person may determine the time and place of all regularly scheduled meetings and the time, place, and purpose of all special meetings, and whereas it is deemed appropriate to update the current rules and practice, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Township Trustees of Orange Township Board that the following rules are adopted. Number one, unless otherwise provided by the board acting by resolution, the regularly scheduled meetings of the board shall be held at the Township Hall on the first Monday of each month at 10 a.m. and on the third Monday of each month at 7 p.m. When a regularly scheduled meeting falls on a legal holiday, the meeting shall be held at the same time and place on the following Tuesday. The specific dates of the regularly scheduled meetings for each year shall be identified and announced by the board at its annual organizational meeting and thereafter at such other meetings at which modifications may occur. Number 2, following each announcement by the board, a notice of the regularly scheduled meeting dates, including the dates, time, and place of the meetings, shall be posted and maintained by the township fiscal officer or their designee in at least one prominent public location in the township hall. Additionally, the township fiscal officer or their designee shall, following each announcement, immediately publish the dates, time, and place of all regularly scheduled meetings one time in the Delaware Gazette, a newspaper of general circulation in the township, and if the board is maintaining a township website, on the township's website. Number 3, notice of any special meeting, including the date, time, place, and purposes of the meeting, shall be posted by the township fiscal officer or their designee in at least one prominent public location in the township hall, and if the board is maintaining a township website, on the township's website. Additionally, notice may be disseminated by broadcast utilizing the township's automatic mailing list server. Number 4, except in the event of emergency requiring immediate official action, no special meeting shall be held unless at least 24 hours advance notice is given to the news media that have requested such notification. News media shall request such notice in writing to the township fiscal officer or their designee. Notice may be disseminated by facsimile transmission, email, or broadcast utilizing the township's automatic mailing list server. Number 5, in the event of emergency, the member or members calling the meeting shall notify the news media that have requested notification immediately of the date, time, place, and purpose of the meeting. Notice may be given personally or disseminated by telephone, facsimile transmission, email, or broadcast utilizing the township's automatic mailing list server. Number 6, upon request of the township fiscal officer or their designee, any person may obtain reasonable advance notification of all meetings at which any specific type of public business is to be discussed. At the election of the person making the request, the notification may be accomplished by mailing the date, time, place, and agenda of meetings to the subscriber at their provided address or by broadcasting email with that information to their provided email address utilizing the township's automatic mailing list server. If the request is for notification by mail, the requester shall provide the township fiscal officer or their designee a sufficient quantity of self-addressed stamped envelopes bearing sufficient postage to mail the requested notice and agendas. The fiscal officer or their designee shall maintain a list of all persons requesting such notification, together with a separate list of news media requesting notification of meetings. Number 7, if a meeting is canceled, the fiscal officer or their designee shall issue notice of the cancellation by prominently posting a notice of the cancellation in at least one prominent public location in the township hall, and if the board is maintaining a township website, on the township's website. Additionally, notice may be disseminated by broadcast utilizing the township's automatic mailing list server. Be it further resolved that a copy of these rules shall be posted and maintained by the township fiscal officer or their designee in at least one prominent location, public location at the township hall, and if the board is maintaining a township website, on the township's website, together with the notice that additional copies may be obtained in the office of the township fiscal officer. Be it further resolved that all prior resolutions of the board or parts thereof in conflict with the provisions of this resolution are hereby repealed and of no further force or effect. Be it further resolved that all formal actions of this board concerning and relating to this passage of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of the board, and all deliberations of this board and of any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Second?
Trustee Knapp?
Yes.
Trustee Rivers?
Yes.
Trustee Tranner?
I have to say no. We have to be available to our residents.
I make a motion, be it resolved that unless subsequently modified by the Board of Township Trustees acting by resolution, the balance of the 2018 regularly scheduled meetings of the board shall be held at the Township Hall on the following dates at the following times: October 1st, 2018, 10 a.m., October 15th, 2018, 7 p.m., November 5th, 2018, 10 a.m., November 19th, 2018, 7 p.m., December 3rd, 2018, 10 a.m., December 17th, 2018, at 7 p.m.
Second?
Trustee Knapp?
Yes?
Trustee Rivers?
Yes.
Trustee Tranner?
No.
And, let's see. Next we have new business.
Yes, the Outreach and Communications Committee. Back first quarter of the year, we expanded this committee to 7 members, and the idea was to build a strong foundation, a good number. We wanted to grow the group, get it to a point where we had the goal of in the fall looking at possibly expanding and adding more to the group. Here we are. So this was discussed at our meeting last Wednesday, and the model that we've discussed in going forward and that we're looking at is to stick to a 7-person, 7 to possibly 9, but I think 7 is the ideal number. Stick with that number as the committee. However, add 2, 3, 4 underneath each person and designate a direction or whatever it may be, project for each person. So we have more of an ad hoc type focus, which would allow flexibility for us to focus on short and long-term projects. And that flexibility, a lot of times you get in these projects and there ends up being a lot more work than you thought. Sometimes things get wrapped up a lot quicker. So overall, we would have a much larger group that we can pull from, and as things change, you have that size of a group there and the hands on deck. However, I think it would make us more efficient and effective in focusing and narrowing down the projects and the different things that we do want to focus on. The other thing we discussed was, I know there's been discussions as far as the Parks Board and what the future of the Parks Board is, and we're looking at possibly if it would make sense to incorporate the Parks Board and the current projects that they're working on into OTOP. So I'm bringing this before the board tonight just as where we're at and for an update. I don't have anything proposed or anything in great detail, but we are hoping to bring something forward to look at in the next 2 weeks before our next meeting.
Oh, it sounds like a great idea. Oh,
So what would the next step be?
Well, we hope to get an idea of an outline, kind of the structure of what different areas that we want to focus on, what projects that we'd like to focus on, bring that forward to the board for your input.
I think out of respect to the park board, you should attend their meeting and tell them some of this vision, what it would mean to them, so they don't feel like they're kind of being pushed into something.
And I haven't spoken with all the park board members, but I have spoken with some. So they are aware, and I think there's a lot of interest in making some possible changes.
Great.
So that would be for the next meeting, you
Yes.
said? Great, that sounds good. And the last item we have on here is the resignation of a fiscal officer. Today, the board received notice that our fiscal officer, Joel Spitzer, has resigned effective immediately. So we will need to be filling that position. It's very unfortunate that he didn't give any notice at all. He and his assistant Kathy resigned. They gave no notice, and they've kind of left us in a very difficult position because we cannot pay any bills, we can't perform any fiscal actions whatsoever. Further, we're going to have a special audit. I'm not sure before the person takes office or what, but there will need to be some kind of audit, like a post-fiscal officer audit.
Changeover.
Yeah, and typically that changeover would occur when a fiscal officer had given notice, so we're not sure how the mechanics of that, but we cannot take any fiscal actions whatsoever. So bills can't be paid, financials can't be printed, we can't absolutely do anything. So it's gonna cause a lot of work. So I was disappointed to see his assistant Kathy go because she'd been doing a great job. I'd just been talking to Lee a couple weeks ago about how hard she was working and how attentive to detail she was, and she was really a great employee, and I was very impressed with Ms. McCarroll, and I wish that she had not resigned, but she has. So we will need to,
Can crisis office assist us at all
with what?
with entering invoices, that type of thing? I realize we need a fiscal officer's signature, but this is a little unprecedented. I'm kind of curious.
You can't, no actions can be taken whatsoever without a fiscal officer. And so we can't write checks, we can't do anything. So we're going to need, typically you have 30 days to appoint a new fiscal officer. So we're, or a trustee. And typically if it's a trustee, it's not that big of a deal because you have 30 days and there's 2 other trustees. But we need to appoint someone ASAP. Plus the person would take months to learn the job, they'll have to go through training, they'll have to be bonded, added to the accounts. It's a huge learning curve.
Is there
Fortunately,
any business, what business can the fiscal office do with this? I mean.
I'll be honest, I think cleaning up paperwork, repair anticipatory paperwork on scanning POs, things of that sort. But as far as actually,
Payment checks?
No, can't do anything.
you need to have the certification of the fiscal officer, and for that you need a fiscal officer.
and Ms. Lewis has kindly offered to assist us in this, which I'm so happy about. I thought she might be reluctant, but she jumped right in, offered to do it, talked to Mr. Bodnar about it, and I spoke with her today, and she is excited to help us, and I'm super happy about that. And she's been a great employee to us over the last few months as well. So I think that we're going to have, we will be having interviews. I'd like people to submit their resumes for consideration, but I think we need to appoint someone within the next couple of days, actually. So I'd like to propose having a special meeting on like Wednesday to discuss appointing a new fiscal officer.
Is there any reason why we just can't do it right now?
Well, we probably want to go to executive session to discuss the different applicants. Did you have an applicant in mind?
No, but I know we all saw a email from someone today, and I received a phone call from Matt Scheibeck expressing an interest today. I told him what the process normally is, and Mike, don't we have to post the job?
No.
We do not.
For better or worse, the revised code simply says if there's a vacancy in elective office, the board shall act to fill the vacancy.
I want to say when Jennifer Christian as a trustee resigned, they posted it, but I realized we're a little bit more dire situation here.
They license the
It's
discretion for
different,
this.
yeah.
But they also
It's
need to
different
be
trustee.
I'm
trained.
fine with 24 hours if we want to do a special meeting Wednesday, that gives,
I mean, we want to announce it,
It'd be
yeah.
nice if we had more time, but obviously under these situations, we don't have that luxury.
Yeah, I'd like to announce it also, announce that the position's open and have people apply. But it is a job that, it's a tough job. I mean, basically, it's an $80,000 job if you do it right, and the pay is around $32,000. So it's a lot of work, it's a lot of learning. It can be a very overwhelming job despite, no matter what background you have, it's a very important job, and it's not paid well enough. So how about a meeting I was thinking on noon on Wednesday.
I have probably over 200 third graders in this room between 9:45 and 1 o'clock on Wednesday.
We do that. It should be
No.
here.
And then I take my father to the doctor at 1.
What time do they get here at?
The first group is 9:45, the second group is 12:30.
Okay, I was not aware of that. What about like in the morning, like 8? Wait, what time, 9:45? I don't know.
What
Take
time would
8:30?
on the day, would you have any time available?
Surely I'll be back by 4.
4:30 work?
Yes.
4 o'clock?
I think we could, I could even do 4. If Mr. Rogers can do 4.
And for what purposes do you anticipate?
Discussion,
Possible
possible
action
action.
on the appointment of a fiscal officer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, and we don't need to accept either resignation, correct? Because Ms. McCarroll worked for.
No,
this
they were
office.
stated to be effective immediately. The acceptance is really, in my opinion, at least more operative if someone, for example, were to say, I'm going to resign effective November 1st, if there is no acceptance of it and a shift in position on the part of the board, that resignation could technically be withdrawn anytime prior to the effective date. So here they're stated to be effective immediately. Can't press either one end of service, slavery's been abolished, so I think you're fine here. On the other, it's simply to get the acceptance as a matter of record and begin the search to find a replacement.
Okay. Yeah, I think I gotta check on something, but I think 4 o'clock should hopefully work on Wednesday. So we'll set a special meeting for 4 o'clock on Wednesday, the 19th, and Mr. McCarthy will prepare the legal notice.
Sure. I'll work with Mr. Bowden.
And just for the board's notification, I will be out and unavailable to attend as I will be having oral surgery that afternoon. I could come, but, I sound even goofier than I do without oral surgery, so.
We'll give you a pass on that one. Okay, so, and I am looking forward to a brighter future for Orange Township now. I'm looking forward to getting a new fiscal officer in here. Like I said, I read that Kathy resigned, she's a good employee, but I'm looking forward to a new fiscal officer. So I would like people to, like I said, submit their resumes or a letter of interest to Mr. Bodnar, and I'll copy all of us, and Mr. Bodnar will send them to us, so. Are there any further comments? Anything further? Okay, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.